Good afternoon. I'm Lucas Panzica from the 104.5 The Zone studios. The Tennessee Titans finish out the regular season Sunday at Nissan Stadium, hosting the Jacksonville Jaguars, who come to town looking to clinch the AFC South. They can do so with a win. If the Titans win, the division will go to the winner between Texans and Colts. That'll happen on Saturday night. You can hear the Westwood One call of that game right here on The Zone. Mike Vrabel set to meet with the media here in just a moment to update injuries for Sunday's game as Will Levis works through a foot injury. The League Company countdown to kickoff hits the air at 9 a.m. on Sunday. Titans countdown is at 11. Kickoff is at noon with Mike Keith, Coach Mack, and the rest of the Titans radio crew. College basketball, fifth-ranked Tennessee opens SEC play against undefeated number 22 Ole Miss on Saturday. That's a 5 p.m. tip-off. Catch the Vol Network coverage right here on The Zone. Vanderbilt hosting Alabama at Memorial Gym at 2:30. Belmont plays host to Drake on Sunday afternoon, and Lipscomb travels to Bellarmine tomorrow afternoon at 3. For all your foundation repair and waterproofing needs, visit USSTN.com. Breaking news at once on your home for the Titans and Vols. This is 104.5 The Zone.
All right, let's get it rolling on a Friday. Happy weekend to you. Should have told you that yesterday. Thursday's pretty much the weekend around here. It's your last football weekend. If you're a Titans fan, you're going to have a hibernation of Titans. Yeah.
That's the baby cry. Was that a good one?
I knew what you were doing there. He cried so loud the music just died. What happened?
He thought I was going to go.
I forgot to fade that down.
Joey Bananas just
that was my bad.
Yeah,
maybe you should just build a fade into it. You have editing equipment.
Here.
Well,
I'll help you out, Bananas. I'm going to come back there and let me do you. And then you switch to me.
Happen.
And now I would make you look like a genius.
Okay, so our intro is so much shorter than all the other shows.
Why is that?
I don't know.
Why do we have a short intro?
it just is, so I have to fade it real quick, and I just forgot to.
Uh-oh. You just gave us a topic. I know we already have a plan, but it always goes to the left, but we never wreck.
Right.
What should be Blaine and Mickey's intro music when we come on?
Okay.
Call in. Tell us what you're thinking.
Yep.
737-1045 The Zone.
That's right. Let us know.
Are we
just flip that thing on its ear. New year, new theme if we get
us for 2024?
Yep, we're starting all new. It's like when everybody comes out, I'm going to work out, I'm going to do this and that. Yeah, that's what we're doing. We're going to do it.
I like it.
Yeah, and Bananas is going to be the final judge. Since he is not a music guy, he's going to make the determination. What? It's just like, being an owner of a team. You're not a football person, but you just got a whole bunch of money.
You just throw a drink on somebody. Yeah.
You don't know football, but hey, I got enough money to buy a team.
By the way, that guy only got fined $300,000 for physically throwing a drink on people. And all those years ago, Bud Adams got fined $250,000 for
just $50,000 less for giving somebody the finger.
A hand gesture, which didn't hurt anybody.
No, he gave somebody the finger. We don't have to give it a hand gesture. He gave somebody the finger.
He gave him the finger.
Just in passing.
Yes.
And I'm like, I didn't even know if the NFL was going to even fine him. I wasn't sure. I thought it was going to be, if they were, I thought it was going to be something small, like for $25,000. Okay, don't do that. Slap on the wrist, stop. Well, slap on the wrist is $250,000, but to them, it's like 25 cents. But hey, so he actually threw some on somebody. So that's literally, he touched them.
Yes.
I think that's a little bit more.
I do too. And even with
that
inflation.
That would have gave that right to that person. It's like, I'm about to crawl through this window and I'm about to get you.
Yeah.
Because we don't know how many drinks they had.
Oh, you're going to throw a drink on somebody in a football crowd that's all crazy and hyped up and nuts? Yeah. Nuts enough to turn around and argue with you already? Yeah.
Man. I think he's setting the parameters for, I don't think I want to be the coach there. Because if he's doing that, just imagine if we lose a close game. He's going to be like, throwing drinks on me.
It's going to take somebody who's like, this is the only way I'm going to get to be a head coach is take this job.
Huh. Wow.
And you wouldn't want to work for anybody that volatile. But if you think, I'm never going to get a chance, I got to take this. But that would surely weed out a whole bunch of candidates. Having a crazy person who signed a check.
Bad? But there's 32 of them. Only 32.
Yeah.
And then, job openings is maybe like 5.
Taylor says, guys, it's just a drink in the F&M Bank chat. It is. But
I know.
You're supposed to have a little more dignity than that as an NFL owner. As just a human being.
Mm-hmm. Oh, no doubt. Now, if it was just, some dingleberry just on the street, just throw a drink, in the bar. Oh, okay, cool. But aren't you supposed to set the standard? See, this is my whole stake. The more power, more money you have, the more expectations I expect out of you. Maybe unfair, but I do. Low-hanging fruit, nah, all right, yeah. He was tipsy. He was upset in a bar. He bumped into him. No big deal. Billionaire, you have a lot to lose.
Yep.
Why would you do that?
Put it this way: if the players had done something like that,
I was going there next.
The repercussions that they would face, you got to do it to the owner. You got to.
Yeah, you got to set the tone for the people up top. I've said this numerous times. Leaders of the team, the head coach. You set the standard for them, and guess what? I'm going to call them the minions underneath will fall in line. Oh, they did it to the coach. Oh, they did it to the owner. Oh, I better not do that. Mm-hmm. Yeah, see, that's how you set the standard right there. Well, we got some callers for some intro music. Couple calls, yeah.
Yes, sir. Will Levis will be the number 3 quarterback because Ryan Tannehill will start for the Titans.
Ooh.
That is per Mike Vrabel. Yeah. He ruled out Caleb Farley, which I think he'd already ruled him out. TK McClendon, Anthony Kendall, and Colton Dowd. Those guys ruled out.
So this will officially be Ryan Tannehill's final game in two-tone blue.
Tannehill and Henry be out there doing their thing.
Hey, good. Sayonara. We'll get hopefully a great game and maybe a win.
Let's hope so. Bam in Nashville. So Blaine throws us out. It's a new year. Y'all want a different intro music? What do you got in mind? Bam, what you got for us, man?
Man, I got a couple things. First off, how y'all doing, man? Long time no hear.
Yeah, what's going on, Bam?
Good hearing from you.
Bam.
Man, I think you should either go Stone Cold's intro, Stone Cold Steve Austin's intro, Hit the Glass, with y'all coming on. I think that would be pretty fun. Or Bret Hart's theme music. That would actually fit you all too. But if we're talking actually with Mickey, you being a music head, I think Cool in the Gang funky stuff would be great for y'all.
Ooh.
Oh, you writing all those down, Mickey?
I think Bananas is keeping
No,
track
he's
of
answering the
everything.
phone.
Oh, it's Bananas down. All right. I'm going to write it down.
Yeah.
Okay.
Funky stuff. I Cool in the Gang would actually be I think that fits y'all better because the diversity of everything. I think it'll set the tone. It'll make everything. Blaine, listen, I just need y'all to, if y'all see me Sunday on the ground or falling on the field crying because it might be Derrick Henry's last game, just please pick me up.
Hey, you won't be alone, man. You won't be alone, man. That guy's
going to ball. Do y'all hear me? Listen to me, man. Y'all gonna think that meant somebody's funeral. I can't take this, man.
Yeah.
I think there's going to be a lot of people like that. Yeah.
But here's the thing, though. Like, man, listen, if Derrick Henry had regressed because of his play and he just didn't have it, I could understand being like, you know what, it's time to move on. This dude is still producing with playing with kindergartners. Like, come on, man. Like, y'all got to give this man another shot. All he's done for the city is for the team. If he hasn't dropped off that much to say, we can't tell if he's dropped off that much. That's why I'm like, hey, look, man.
I'm with you on that.
Y'all really need to think about this because you know what he means to the city. You know what he means to the fan. I'm telling you, y'all. I ain't even wearing my jersey. I'm wearing black. I'm coming like I'm going to a funeral. Oh, my Lord. It's Friday. I'm emotional already. I can't take it.
Hang in there, buddy.
Yeah. Thanks, Bam. Yeah. There's a lot of fans that feel that way. I get it, though. Man, for the right price, I think I'd bring him back, but not for the price he's making now. Ooh, no.
Well, we've discussed it.
And it's going to be Henry's option to come back. Let's make that point too.
Yep, he may say it's been great. I don't know how many years I got left. I'd like to go somewhere where there's a ready-made offensive line, an opportunity to get the big trophy that I want to get, that everybody's playing for every year. That's all anybody's.
Because what else is Henry playing for?
Nothing. Hall of Fame, maybe.
But if you got that ring, that it helps elevate
Punch the ticket.
Mm-hmm.
Him with all that, throw another 1,000+ yards on there, and the Vince Lombardi Trophy. Hey, man.
Not only Hall of Fame, he may be the greatest running back of the organization's history.
Maybe the only one with one of those trophies.
Ooh, and that's serious talk when we just went through our discussion of the 3 times.
Yeah.
Because he's got numbers to back it up.
Sure does.
And then the trophy.
Dennis from Carthage. I don't know if he's got numbers or a trophy, but he's got an idea for intro music here. What's going on, Dennis?
Yeah. How you doing, buddy?
Good.
We're doing great.
I just want to say, Blaine, I enjoyed back when you played. You was one of the greatest players, on my opinion, for the Titans back then. You, Eddie, Javon Curse.
We had some great days.
That was most enjoyable time of watching the games was back then. Miss seeing you play. But I think their good intro music would be Crazy Train, because that represents the way y'all on the field and then different off the field.
Yeah.
Crazy Train, man.
Crazy Train. You like that one, Mickey?
I've played that about
All right.
8,000 times in my young life. Thank you, Dennis.
Yeah. Ooh. And then when we going to start playing some of these music during each break when we come back
yeah.
in, you're listening, Bananas? And,
Start working some of these
that way
in.
we
Try
can
them on.
feel it out. See,
Yeah.
oh, okay, yeah, we like that. Don't like it, take it off the list. Cool.
Let's get Anthony from Cookville in next. Hey, Anthony, what you got for us, man? Happy New Year.
Happy New Year, fellas. All right, guys, this is it. This is it right here.
Okay.
Because you guys are so chill, you love music. I love the vibe to the intro of this song. Marvin Gaye's Got to Give It Up at the beginning. I think it's perfect for you guys.
Ooh,
Have a
Mickey's
great one, fellas.
eyebrows
Hey,
lit
man.
up on that one like,
For somebody to describe something, like for him to say, this is the way I see the show, and then you need that song is that. That song's got the chillest vibe.
Oh.
It's like a party, basically.
We're playing that one first. We're going to start that, and that sets the tone when we come back. Yeah, we're going to see. Ooh, man.
Write that one down.
Yeah, he set that up, too.
Because when you're going to describe something, you're going to say, this is the way I see your show, and this, like, how he sees our show, that song is, like, that's a nice marriage, man. Because that song is literally just a party in the studio.
Well, you're our music guy, so, you know, and Bananas is the total opposite of that, so I'm in the middle. So we'll let you make this decision. Sorry, Bananas.
Jason in the borough. What are you thinking? What music makes you think of us? And be kind here. What are you thinking?
Hey, man, I love y'all's show. I want to say, for my theme music, I want to say y'all should do the theme music for the Beverly Hills Cops. Do.
Oh,
Yeah.
Axel F is the name of that song.
I don't need anything else to get me juiced because I'm a naturally juiced dude, but that would get me. That would get
The
me.
Beverly
hyped up.
Hills Cop thing would do that for you?
Yeah, man, just little certain. It's the tone. It's the beat. It's oh man.
You know they're making a sequel to that movie.
Oh what?
They're making
Are they
another.
really?
Yes.
Do you know I used to watch that?
Thanks
all
for
the
the call,
time.
Jason.
I had that car and everything, and I just run
Beverly Hills Cop.
Oh, I'm sorry. I was thinking of Dukes of Hazzard. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I don't think he's
Beverly
thinking
Hills
just the
Cop.
good old boys.
Yeah.
Now that would be a good thing.
That's what I want right there.
You and me.
I do.
The Dukes of Hazzard.
Is that telling our age?
Well, no, because that's in reruns. We got our man Mitch in here. He's young. You know Dukes of Hazzard? Okay.
Oh.
Bananas. I know he knows Dukes of Hazzard. I mean,
That's okay.
we got.
I do know the Dukes
Mickey's
of
from the
Hazzard.
middle of nowhere.
I'm from the middle. Somebody asked me once when I was young, do you watch the Dukes of Hazzard? I went to Chicago to see some family of mine, and I said, no, I live that. It's basically a documentary to me.
Oh man, I would look forward to that every week.
But see, I was living in the middle of
So
stuff.
you didn't want to watch it, huh?
Yeah, so I would have watched shows about the city because you were a big city guy. I was a
Yeah.
country guy. I wanted to watch gritty, crime shows about the city. Starsky and Hutch.
Oh, I watched that too.
By the way, Hutch died today. Rip Hutch.
Did he?
Yep, David Soul.
How did I not know that?
I
I used to have the dolls. I mean,
Yeah.
yes,
Did you have the car?
Oh, you know I did. Oh boy, yeah. I told
Gran
you, man, I
Torino.
was all in. Remember, Eva Knievel bike. That was my best gift. For
Yeah, I had the
Christmas.
same thing.
What are you talking about? People are like, my son's probably listening, laughing. Like, what are you talking about?
He knows what you're talking about. Jameson says in the F&M Bank chat, Mickey, you're a Kiss fan. What about Rock and Roll All Night? Rock and Roll, I'll put that one on
Put
there.
it on there.
That's
Oh,
a
there you
good
go.
one.
Yeah, Mickey right there. Mm-hmm. The bass line, best earworm. Huh?
Chili Peppers song. Chill type song. The bass
Stephen
line
Miller
is the
Band.
best earworm. Yeah, people are filling up the bank chat with this.
Tweet that out too, Bananas.
Let's get.
Yeah, we got to go to break here in a second.
All right, we'll hurry quick. We got D. Wick.
D Wick.
D. Wick.
Is this John Wick's cousin?
Yeah, D. Yeah. What you got?
I got
Wikipedia.
fame by David Bowie.
You got what?
David Bowie fame.
on the song?
Man, we got a bad connection. We're having a hard time. It's like you're underwater. Can we try it one more time here?
Yeah. David Bowie Fame.
Oh, David Bowie Fame. Yeah. That's a great song.
I thought he was underwater.
I did too for a second there. David Bowie.
I was like, dang, that's unique.
Fame.
How did he do that?
That's got a great vibe. It's funny because everybody's suggesting these kind of like chill, just chill songs.
I like the chill song, but then the explosion.
I like the explosion too. John Wick rocks, says somebody here. That was D Wick. That was John's cousin D. Adam in the Borough, help us out here.
I got y'all.
Okay.
Crazy Bone, Murder Mode, that intro part gets everybody hyped.
Crazy
You know
Bone.
what I'm talking about?
I might have to say that I'm not sure about this.
You don't know what I'm talking about? It's like, man, I can't.
Come on, hum it. Yeah, let's hear this. Come on.
Hummity.
Boom, 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 boom. You know what I'm talking about?
You just did a lot of boom, boom, booms. I don't know how much that drives me.
We'll look it up during the break.
Look it up, man.
We're gonna look
Once
it up.
I hear it, I'm sure.
You got the name?
Intro.
Crazy Bones.
Crazy Bones.
Murder Mode.
Murder Mode.
Just that intro part.
Okay.
You'll know what I'm talking about when you hear it.
Oh, 100%. You know me, Adam. I'm down with all that stuff. Okay, Joey Bananas. I'm trying to write all these down.
Oh, man. Dude, Terry's the last guy, I think. Well, that's other people calling it.
Let's get Terry, because then we got to get to some business here. We got Chad Forbes on next. So, Terry, help us out here. What are you thinking?
Well, I'm thinking since you guys are so smooth and kind of kooky all at the same time,
Yes.
I'm thinking the Pink Panther.
The Pink Panther theme.
Oh.
Yeah, that'd be awesome for you guys, man.
Well, how does it go? How does it go?
Dun-dun.
Caruso right there, buddy.
Yeah, hum a couple of bars of it, so maybe the younger people who don't know that can get it. Da-da-da-da. Thank you, man.
Yeah.
I appreciate it.
Ooh, almost.
All right.
Cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs.
Chad Forbes making news in the time. We can pick this up later because we have almost every phone line ringing. We can pick this up later. It's 2024. We'll have plenty of time to discuss this. We'll play some of these suggestions. We'll get to those 615-737-1045. But Chad Forbes is about to call that. He has been speculating on Mike Vrabel's future among other reporters nationally. Let's talk to Chad next. Find out what he's thinking about all this. It's next on Blaine and Mickey. I don't know, man. There's some magic in this one. I like it.
This is one of them ones, man. You start moving in your chair, in your car. You be like, whoa.
We just couldn't have a quick fade on it. We're going to roll. We're taking suggestions, by the way, at Blaine and Mickey on Twitter or FNN Bank Chat. Taking suggestions for show theme music. Maybe we shake things up in 2024. I'll tell you who shook things up a couple of days ago. Chad Forbes at NFL Draft Bites on Twitter. And he joins us now. Chad, how in the world are you doing, man? Thanks for the time today.
I'm doing fantastic.
Well, it's always great to catch up with you. I'm telling you, brother, you had Titans fandom in a little bit of an uproar a couple of days ago. A couple of tweets. You were talking about Mike Vrabel and the relationship with Rand Carthon and the quote. Let me find it here. Fact is, Mike Vrabel has proven himself enough in the league to dictate the organizational structure. He'd get complete Sean Payton-like control from multiple organizations if available. Contract status is a bit cloudy, but a power play is underway. Mike Vrabel wants out of Tennessee. Woo! Man, what's going on? Tell us.
All right, let's walk back to the genesis. After the 2021 season, which was the 12-week campaign, they won 30 games the previous 3 years. I came out and said that I'd heard from a pretty reliable source there was friction between Vrabel and John Robinson. I think that's probably the last time I was on with you guys. You all told me I was crazy. And I said the same language. A power play is going to happen, right? Ownership's going to have to pick between the coach and the general manager. Ultimately, they chose Mike Vrabel, gave him some form of extension. And then when they fired Robinson, they made the interim Ryan Cowden, right? We go into the search last offseason. Vrabel thinks he's going to be the guy driving that search. And ultimately, they're probably going to hire, if he got his pick, Monty Ozenfort or Ryan Cowden. They go outside the organization, bring in a new general manager, and from that same source that said there was friction between John and Mike Vrabel back in 2021 is telling me that it's there again.
Man, so how strong of a power play do you think that Mike might be putting on behind the scenes? Because as you mentioned, there was one, and John Robinson left, so we're, a little over a year removed from that. I mean, is this thing headed to a showdown that somebody leaves town after this season?
No, it's not going to happen this season. Belichick's going to get kept in New England. Vrabel will stick around there for at least one more year, and then Kraft will do everything in his power to get Vrabel to come back to New England. And with Vrabel, he sees the control that Belichick had in New England when he was there. He's been in the college game where the head coach really doesn't answer to very much anybody. And all of a sudden, he's gone from thinking he's become the czar of the organization to back into sharing power with a general manager he's never worked with in the past.
Got Chad Forbes on NFL at NFL Draft Bites on Twitter. You can follow him there for all the latest info he puts out.
Well, Chad, man, it seems like your sources are pretty solid, but I mean, how solid are your sources? I mean, are you that confident? Because you seem as though you're right on playing with everything that's happened. So it sounds like basically Vrabel got JR fired. And by the way, he had success with John Robinson's players up to 2021.
Right. Those two drafts there, the tackle from Georgia and Farley, really soured that relationship. And I'm not sure the dynamics of which one wanted which or certainly like that. But you see this, too, in New York with the Giants when there's friction between the coach and the defensive coordinator. When teams are losing, these are really competitive guys, and they get at each other's throats. So maybe this offseason they sit down and have a lot of time together and build a great rapport. That could happen, right? It could turn this franchise around. But ultimately, if you're Vrabel, he's really highly coveted around the league. And in that local market, I don't think you guys appreciate him enough, where if all of a sudden Mike Vrabel's available, I mean, teams are running after him the way they're going to get rid of run after Jim Harbaugh.
Oh, no question he'll be coveted, but still doesn't mean that he should actually deserve that right. So explain to me what makes a good coach.
What makes a good coach is being able to set a culture. And Mike has done that. He's got built a staff that's been pretty good over the years. They need to be involved in personnel. And, I'll tell you what, half the league doesn't know what makes a good coach. They get it wrong all the time, right? They bring in these new guys that don't have any experience, and they're surprised when they're firing them 2 or 3 years later. With Mike Vrabel, you've seen him do it. If he has the roster, he'll win games. And really, this is the first year where the roster just isn't there for him to win the games, but he's still being competitive in most of them.
You said he built a good staff. Outside of Arthur Smith, the O-line, he hired the assistant, and he's done horrible. He hired a new DB coach. The list goes on. The defense has gone backwards. And by the way, the offensive line has gone backwards not only this season, but from the previous season where they were horrible. And by the way, 3 years in a row, you can blame it on whatever you want to, the most injured team in the NFL.
Okay. We'll say
And knocked out all three of his quarterbacks.
We'll say a little bit of recency bias on the offensive staff. He is the same guy that hired Arthur Smith and Mike LaFleur.
He moved him up, yes. Mm-hmm.
And now the defensive staff he's got there is pretty darn good. They're doing a nice job this year. Wouldn't you say that?
No, last year the secondary was 32nd, and this year they're not too far off. And it gets the run, they've gone backwards.
In the league, though.
No,
they're red zone defense in the league. I would say the best defense in the league.
Roster. Red zone.
Oh yeah, the red zone they are.
I would say the talent on the roster is the issue, and when you win 30 games in 3 years the way he did, people know you can repeat it. I think the talent's an issue. Maybe the staff isn't great anymore. It was certainly much better. I mean, if Arthur Smith gets bounced in Atlanta, I mean, bringing him back has to be a priority.
Oh, so you think Kelly didn't do a good job then as the OC?
No, I think he's doing an okay job with a rookie quarterback. Tannehill, I mean, they got the best out of him for when he was healthy. And, yeah, the offensive line, there's no defending that. And I'm not here to be, Mike Vrabel's biggest advocate, but that offensive line, I think that's a real reason there's some friction between Vrabel and Rand Carthon. He comes over and he brings in, Brunskill and the tackle, and those guys, frankly, have been atrocious.
Well, how do you view a lot of people on the inside there say that Vrabel had the biggest hand on bringing in Andre Dillard?
Dillard might be his pick, but we know Brunskill was brought in by Carthon.
Yes, he was.
And with Dillard, there was it's really hard to buy tackles in free agency. It can't be done. Orlando Brown was a great pickup by the Bengals. They probably should have been in on that market. But, yeah, I mean, Dillard, it's just, he got beat out in Philadelphia. And to think that, it was all because Mulatto was just a great player. No, there was tape of Dillard. He wasn't a very good player. And they gave him $10 million a year. So they'll get out from that contract. And Skoronski hasn't been great. I mean, I'm an offensive line guy. I love offensive line play, and this group is tough to watch.
Yeah, no doubt about that. We're with Chad Forbes, NFL Draft Bites. I guess one more thing about your tweets, and that was kind of interesting here on the NFL's part in multiple organizations. I think you listed 4 organizations that they kind of put together. Kind of explain your tweet there with, I guess, the Bears, Detroit, and as well as the Titans and another organization.
The NFL has gotten really involved in managing the hiring process, not just presenting owners with candidates, but also even in the Titans situation, you hear, here were the finalists, right? Mm-hmm. Because once you become a finalist for the Titans job, it legitimizes you to be a hot candidate the next cycle, right? And what's happened with the league office is they're seeing that teams want to hire offensive coordinators, right? They know that, okay? And I would be the first to say, yes, they had a huge minority hiring problem 3 or 4 years ago, and they've done a good job of addressing that in the front offices. So some of these jobs, now Brad Holmes in Detroit has been fantastic, right?
Mm-hmm.
There's guys that have done a good job, whether they're no matter the color of their skin. But there's some guys that maybe weren't ready for these GM jobs. Rand Carthon might be one of them. Ryan Poles in Chicago, I'm not sure he was necessarily ready for that job. And that's what people are saying around the league. I'm not out here to say it's definitive or
right.
Nobody wants to put their stamp on it in the media, but there is a little bit of an agenda coming from the league office, and everybody knows it.
Mm-hmm. There you have it, Chad Forbes, NFL Draft Bites.
So
that's it.
So you mentioned this, Mike. A lot of people here kind of have looked at New England as the key piece to the Vrabel puzzle. Like, gosh, whatever they do, Sunday night or Black Monday or whatever. But I want to go back to that because you just kind of said it and rolled right on. Like, New England's not going to do anything that you've heard with Belichick this year. It would all go down next year. Vrabel would still be here, and maybe at that time Kraft makes the play for him. So even on the New England front, which people are looking at as a key chess piece, you honestly don't think anything will change this year there?
No, I don't. Belichick comes back for one more year. He's going to look around and say, do I want to go to Los Angeles, and even would they have me? And that ownership wouldn't pay him what Robert Kraft does. So he stays one more year, keeps going after that Shula record, and eventually they'll find a new coach. But it's other teams, too. Like, if the Jets had any, sense of what's going on with their organization and they hear these rumors about Vrabel, why wouldn't Woody Johnson pick up the phone and call the Titans ownership and say, what do you think about moving the coach? Mm. So I think a lot of teams could have interest in Vrabel. I see him back in Tennessee in 2024. But just like that John Robinson situation, these things percolate, and eventually something could occur.
People talk about draft compensation for a coach that's under contract. What do you think Mike Vrabel would be worth to the Jets or the Patriots or to whomever who would want him the most?
Well, the Broncos gave up for Sean Payton, the 30th pick in last year's draft and a second in this year's draft. So, I mean, if you're the Titans and somebody calls you, you kind of got to ask for the same compensation, I think.
First and a second.
He has a Super Bowl ring, right?
John Payton does have a Super Bowl ring, that's for sure. So maybe it's a first and a third instead of a first and a second.
Another thing you had mentioned in your tweets, Vrabel's contract status being cloudy. He is still under contract, I believe, for a couple more years. What's the cloudy part there?
I think the last year contains an option. It's a mutual. There hasn't been a lot that's come out from his agent on that.
Yeah.
But people do believe that there's some ambiguities in the contract that's not necessarily been out there fully at this point.
Chad Forbes at NFL Draft Bites hanging out with us here on Blaine and Mickey.
Well, great stuff there, Chad. But I guess I want to get into where I think the Titans need some help going into the draft. I don't know if you've gone into this yet, deeply, but I'll just say the top 3 offensive tackles and top 3 cornerbacks so far through your draft, looking at the draft so far with players.
I look where the Titans are sitting at 7, and teams are going to be trying to jump ahead of them to get one of the 2 tackles, Notre Dame guy and the Penn State tackle. So they could kind of be sitting there at 7, not have a choice. You could have to go with them like a Malik Neighbors. Pass rusher won't excite you. You've got to fix that offense. But I don't see those 2 tackles getting to 7, and that could be a real challenge because left tackle is a major issue.
I guess early, who do you think will be the top 5 picks? You got any guesstimate? I know where does Harrison Jr. go?
The 2 quarterbacks and Marvin Harrison Jr. go in the top 3. I expect the Penn State tackle to go either 4 or 5. And then it really comes down to, what team's there and what are the Giants or, someone want to do at 5. Maybe it's a Malik Neighbors or a Dallas Turner, the edge rusher from Alabama. It's still pretty early. But for me, the best 5 players in this draft, it's the 2 tackles, quarterbacks, Marvin Harrison Jr., and the LSU wide receiver. He's got a case to be made that maybe he could go ahead of one of the tackles.
Okay. And lastly, I'd love to get your thoughts. This is back to, MVP type player. And I want to say Lamar Jackson, but a lot of people are saying Brock Purdy. Do you think the system makes Purdy, or do you think Purdy makes the system better and operates it better?
Other guys like Nick Mullins haven't been able to operate as well as he had, right? But that doesn't mean you're the MVP. Right? For a quarter of a century, we've been watching football, and we've been seeing what the Shanahans have done with these quarterbacks, and they say, Brock Purdy's the outlier. And my response is, no, guys. John Elway was the outlier, right? Like, Brock Purdy's a ball distributor. He's doing a great job with weapons. But, Lamar Jackson, he's taken that organization on his back. And the way he played down the stretch in a tough, he's the MVP for me. I actually think number 2 should be Josh Allen. If he can win on Sunday night, that would really help his case. But Purdy maybe top 5, but, let's not anoint him MVP quite yet.
I got 2 more questions on the Vrabel. This is from the chat from different people, but why is the narrative that Mike Vrabel wants out? Like, how does that narrative come out when you're under contract?
Well, it's not necessarily that he wants out. It's just he's got friction with the general manager and ownership on the power structure, right?
It's just like a player, right? But
he's saying right now, either fix this, right? I want to hire my guy. I want to do it my way, right? It's a me kind of approach, or let's look for an organization that'll give me the type of power I deserve. And he believes that he should have the kind of power Sean Payton does or Bill Belichick does in New England.
Okay, reason why I'm asking that, because you kind of went back, is he has no options. They can sit there and say, no, we're going to sit here and we're going to, just like they do a player, and say, you want out, but we want you here, so figure it out.
Right, but in the last decade, we've seen with players, especially if they want out of a situation, it seems like the teams facilitate it. The NFL becomes more like the NBA every day. If you've got an unhappy coach who doesn't want to be there, I think the Titans will quietly figure out a way to move on from Vrabel and after the 2024 season.
Okay. And the other question is that Vrabel, has he lost a little bit of clout with now that the roster is pretty much changed in the 1 year 50% and he still hadn't gotten it done?
Right, and his clout's going to continue to decline if they struggle again next year, right?
Yes.
So everybody remembers those 30 wins in 3 seasons, that AFC game that he lost to Cincinnati, and they say he's a great coach, he can build a culture. They think of he's a guy that teams want to have in their building. Right, if you lose 13 games next year, the perspective on you is going to change, right? So maybe now it's his time, he thinks, to strike gold and get out of there, but ultimately he's probably back in 2024. I don't see the Titans making a huge radical shift, and you're right, he is under contract.
Right. 18 out of 23 he's lost.
Yep.
Oh, okay. All right, Chad Forbes.
All right, before we let you go, you are NFL Draft Bites. Blaine got a couple of draft questions in. Let's sneak in a couple more. We have all seen Joe Milton play college football in this state for a couple of years. We all know that he is going to go to Mobile. He got a Senior Bowl invitation and will throw the ball from wherever they practice into the Mobile Bay. What do you think the observation process will be like for him, the scouting process, now that we're heading towards the combine and all the events where he'll be seen by scouts?
Yeah, he's a fun prospect because after the first tier of guys, where you have 4 or 5 guys in that group, depending on whether McCarthy declares, there's really nothing until the end of the round 3 or day 3, and Milton has some tools. And that offense at Tennessee is a little bit funky, so it could take some time. But, you put him with a great quarterback coach and give him some time to develop, he can surprise people.
Michael Penix is a guy who's obviously going to be on display again for the whole world to see Monday night. He has an interesting throwing motion to me. I'd be curious to get your thoughts on that. But just where does he fit into this overall picture, even when you factor in his injury history?
Right, and injury history, and people are making the age out to be like it's a huge issue. I think, he's the same age as Will Levis was coming in. He just looks so good on tape. And, a lot of guys get hurt. Sure, he tore up his knee back in 2018, 2019. That's an issue. I'm not going to have, medicals to look at like these teams will. But to me, he's been the best quarterback in college football. And the Raiders, the Falcons, they really desperately need quarterbacks. And he's got to go in the top 10, top 12 to me. And, he's a really fun player. And you know what? If he goes out there and, lights up that Michigan defense, which really nobody's been able to do this year, you can start hearing conversations about maybe he's going in the top 5.
Wow. Well, one of the guys who he's throwing the ball to is Rome Odunze. Honestly, I think every Titans fan was tweeting about that guy after the game last week. Where does he wind up going? Because, oh, my gosh, that guy catches everything.
I would say top 12, and he won't get past the Colts there, whether they're picking at 14 or 15. He's a really exciting player and big, physical, can get vertical. I'll tell you, the other 2 wide receivers, Polk and McMillan, they can play too.
Yeah.
I'd venture to say that their wide receiving core at Washington might be better than the Titans today.
Well, other than DeAndre Hopkins, a lot of people probably be willing to take a look at some of those guys. Yeah. Chad Forbes.
If you get three guys in there over Nuke, I think you take the 3.
Chad Forbes at NFL Draft Bites on Twitter.
Yeah, well, I guess let's have some fun with it. Who you think is going to win the? Everybody has their own opinion on the national championship on Monday.
I think Penix is going to be unstoppable. I got Washington.
Oh man, did he get screwed out of the Heisman? Did he get?
Wait to get the points.
Did Jaden Daniels get a pass and Penix should have won the Heisman?
You look at the voting layout, there's a lot of East Coast bias, right? I don't think a lot of people watch many Washington games, outside of maybe a couple of the Oregon games, but he was fantastic all year long. And LSU's been good before. It's an SEC program. To take the Washington team, put it on your back, and get it undefeated, I really thought they stole the Heisman from him.
Oh, all right. One more. Get the fans over talking about, they want to know pass rusher. Who's the top 3?
Got to be Dallas Turner. The UCLA edge rusher, can't quite pronounce his name. And then the Washington guy you get to see on Monday night, Braylon Trice. Reminds me a little bit of Terrell Suggs. I like him.
Ooh.
And then Ohio State's got a guy. There's 4 in there, and it's a good pass rush group. Not necessarily going to blow you away with their measurables on a lot of legs. But these guys have shown they can get after the quarterback in college. I love Dallas Turner from Alabama.
Cool.
All right, just one last one because we're asking these questions rapid fire. Who's the guy that nobody's talking about right now that's going to go down to Mobile or go to the Combine, and then everybody's going to be talking about that guy?
The defensive tackle who played on the other night for Texas is going to go in the first round, maybe top 20. Down in Mobile, there's a couple offensive linemen that are small school guys that could surprise people, and everyone's looking for offensive linemen. And I don't know, guys, Milton might be the one that surprises everybody, frankly, because he's got all those physical tools, and you put him in that setting, he could really move up the boards.
Wait. You just said everybody's looking for an offensive lineman. Why is it so hard, Chad, to evaluate offensive linemen?
I don't know. Here's how I say it now, right? In baseball, everybody's looking for a starting pitcher. Well, there's 5 offensive linemen. Every team in the NFL is looking for an O-lineman and a corner, okay? I mean, it's just, unbelievable. You need 3 tackles nowadays, and there's some teams that don't have 1.
Yeah, we tell you all about that. Chad, thank you for the time, man. At NFL Draft Bites, everybody can follow you there. I know we'll soon be in draft season. You'll be cranking out the content as always. Thanks for the time today.
Appreciate it, Chad.
That's it, guys. Thanks for having me.
Yes, sir. Chad Forbes, again, had Titans fans buzzing a couple of days ago, giving you a little more context.
I don't think it had more buzz than the intro music for the Blaine and Mickey show,
Yeah,
though.
well, people are still calling in with ideas for that. And Roy in Middle Tennessee, that's where he's just calling from all of Middle Tennessee, wants to talk about maybe a reverse coaching idea. Ooh. Roy, if you hold, we'll come straight to you when we come back. It's Blaine and Mickey on Friday. Football
Steve
Friday.
J, too.
Well, as we all know, the football season is coming to an end all too soon. Regular season getting ready to wrap up this weekend. It's going to be glorious. And what else is glorious? Getting in on all the action with FanDuel, America's #1 sports book. That's because right now new customers can get $150 back in bonus bets guaranteed when you place a $5 bet. That's $150. That's in bonus bets, and that's win or lose. This app is so simple and so easy to use. Maybe like a big day for the King in his possible final two-tone blue appearance. You could do that on FanDuel, or a parlay, or explore bets in the new Explore tab. It's all there for you, all those things and more. So why don't you visit FanDuel.com/Mickey. Make your first bet a layup. Again, FanDuel.com/Mickey. FanDuel, official partner of the NFL. You do have to be 21 or older, present in Tennessee. First online real money wager, only $10 first deposit required. Bonus issued as non-withdrawable bonus bets that expire 7 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call the Tennessee Red Line at 1-800-889-9789.
So this is a small bird, too, for someone
right.
that's never seen a bob white before. It's this little round softball.
That's right. Yeah, you could. I wouldn't. They're not much bigger than my fist. You know, they've got little legs, but they're a ground nesting, ground dwelling bird. If they never have to fly in their life, they wouldn't. Right? They just do that to get away from hawks and owls for the most part, or hunters. What they need is largely herbaceous plant communities. Right? So they need wildflowers. They need a small proportion of grasses. I don't need vast grasslands, right? I need stuff that most people would call weeds. Those are providing good brood cover, good nesting cover, a lot of insects, right? That's what chicks need to develop early.
Bridgestone Firestone is a quail focus or focal area. So tell us a little bit why.
Yeah, it's largely because there are very few places that have wild quail in the state of Tennessee anymore. And there's dozens of different factors that lead into that, right? Everybody wants to jump right to predators, but it's a habitat issue, right? It's a landscape change, whether we're talking about development or whether we're talking about fire not being on the landscape anymore, or fields and young forests progressing into closed canopy forest, right? So the farm, just by nature of it being an open landscape that's been maintained that way, has held on to some birds. And compared to most other places in the state, we're one of the very few. On top of that, the potential for growing that population, it's higher here than just about anywhere else.
So we're I don't know, we're going to try to unpeel ourselves an onion of a new theme song maybe for 2024. Crazy Train was suggested by Dennis. Anthony suggested a Marvin Gaye song, Got to Give It Up. We played that earlier. That had the whole room bumping. I'm going to say Crazy Train is another one that 100% of the time works 100% of the time. Meanwhile, Roy in Middle Tennessee, we're taking suggestions, but Roy's jumping off topic here because he wants to stay with, football and coaching stuff. So, Roy, what have you got, man? What's your scenario that you think's going on with all this stuff?
Well, I'll give you a theme song while I'm at it.
Give it to us.
Walk It, Talk It. If you don't know it, look it up. You guys can walk it and talk it. I mean, straight up. But anyway, so NFL's a parity league. And, years, coaches get older, great coaches get older, and they can still coach. They can go to other teams, college level, pro level, and they can still coach. Teams are going to want them.
Yeah.
Belichick is a guy that's going to be sought after. If he leaves New England, if they get rid of him, everybody's going to be calling him. But think about this. So Parcells did it. Tom Coughlin did it. Belichick has a home in Franklin, Nashville area. He's familiar with Vrabel. Let's just say hypothetically he leaves the Patriots, and Vrabel's like, you know what, Rand? You're the GM. Hey, you run the business side of it, and I'm running the players and the coaches and stuff. Hey, I want to bring Bill on as a special assistant or something. Y'all can bring him in as a VP role in the office, and he can help mold this team to something great. I mean, I could see it. I mean, I know everybody's going to be calling him, but who's to say Robert Kraft's not going to go after Harbaugh and Harbaugh, goes to New England or whatever? I mean, it could happen there too. But I could really see Parcells like, whoa, let me just take a step back and relax, go to Nashville, the little vibe life there, and live it up. And there you go. You got the student, and you got the old coach and Belichick coming in here as some type of consultant. I could see it. What do you guys think?
Roy, thanks for the phone call. The narrative on Belichick more than anything, and I know I want to say that I've seen him run past me while I was playing on stage for the marathon one year. I know he's involved in some things around here in the offseason. Every narrative about him, Blaine, is that he wants to pass Don Shula as the all-time winningest coach. And you can't do that if you're doing something other than head coaching.
Yeah, I just don't see two A personality guys. I just don't see it. And by the way, he's in the front office. He's not being good at the front office the last 3 years. It's pretty clear. In his draft picks, I think, over the last 3 or 4 years, I think most of his first-round picks. So I just, wishful thinking, though, but I don't see that.
Mickey, that's an interesting point about him wanting that record.
He'll stay in the coaching business.
So what are the teams that he's been linked to? The Commanders? I don't think you're going to get it there. I mean, they have a...
Well, how many more wins does he need?
Oh, I'd have to look that up.
Because when you say he can't get it there, well, you say, okay, if he wins 7 games, then he wins 9 games, then he wins 11. So it's a 3-year process. So, I don't know the number, but if that's his key, he may want to say, now I want to start something from the beginning to the end and then show my worth and get the record. So some coaches like that instead of go to something that's already built.
So he's 26 games out from tying Don Shula. So he needs 27 more wins.
27. Ooh.
He's got 302, and Don Shula has 328. And George Halas is in between with 318.
But the other team that I saw Belichick linked to when all this kind of started was the Chargers.
Yeah.
And I think that might be a better case for him to try and pass it because they have a good young offense, quarterback that's already locked up. You got to fix that defense up a little bit, and I think you're good to go.
Yeah. Sounds like a good fit there.
Would be warm,
I don't know I think what's the ownership? Spanos. I think.
Spanos.
Yeah, they're not known for paying a lot of money, but if they want to go all in, that'd be the good ticket there to see. GM and the money. By the way, I think that's the piece that the caller's missing here. That Chad Forbes says is that when he was talking about Belichick is that he wants to get paid what he's getting paid now, and I don't know I think it's close to $20 million. Because he's the GM and head coach. He's got a new contract. Nobody knew that, right? That's what they were saying. I don't know if that was true or not. Never saw the report of that, but people were talking about it. So I think he's up there. I think he's at the high teens.
And there are reports that he would have to be traded to whatever team he went to. So that certainly stand by you're saying his contract status.
Could he become the first ever coach traded twice? He would be. It would.
Oh, he would be the first one to be traded
Ever
twice?
traded twice. Because he got traded from the Jets. Right?
Nah, I don't know, man. They got to go back and look at the history. I remember that was X'd out after one day, and then he went back to New England because I think Bill Parcells was a part of that whole deal, and he was like, nope. Yeah, because that was a one-day deal, and then all of a sudden it got flipped, and he went back. So if you were counting that, I don't count that. Do you count that to the Jets? Because he didn't go there. He did a presser and everything, and then he's like, nope, he's not doing it.
Bananas may be right that there was some kind of compensation, though, that changed hands.
Yeah, so in 2000, the Patriots traded a first, a fourth, and a fifth-round pick to the Jets for Bill Belichick.
And then when he didn't go there, what happened? Did that X the deal? See, now you got to continue
that was
to
from
reset.
that was from the Jets to the Patriots.
Oh.
He went from the Jets to the Patriots via trade.
Oh,
so he would be the first ever coach to be traded twice.
Oh, Bill Belichick. What happens to him is going to be one of the more.
What was his record with the Jets?
Oh, it couldn't have been. It couldn't have been great.
No, I know, but I like to know that number as we continue to talk about all these scenarios. Or we can get back to our intro song, which is much funner.
Here, I'll tell you just while we're doing this, because I got his thing pulled up. Head coaching record with the Browns was 36-44. He never coached for the Jets.
He never coached.
It came and went.
That's why I wanted you to prove it to me.
Yes.
So that deal got X'd. I'm telling you, he never coached for the Jets. That's why I'm saying it was because of Parcells. I remember this. He did a presser, and then he walked off the stage and said that something's wrong with the contractual situation, and the deal never went through. But everything else was kind of official, so it's out there about what they were going to get, but I don't think that happened.
The Wikipedia, which Joseph could have edited this in the last few seconds. It says NFL Commissioner Paul Tagliabue. This is basically the end of his bizarre term with the Jets. It says soon after this bizarre turn of events, he was introduced as the Patriots coach, succeeding the recently fired Pete Carroll. Which, for those of you who didn't know that, Pete Carroll. The Patriots had inquired to the Jets about permission to interview him for their vacant spot just prior to Parcells stepping down. Parcells and the Jets claimed Belichick was still under contract to the Jets and demanded compensation. Paul Tagliabue agreed the Patriots gave the Jets a first-round pick in 2000 in exchange for the rights to then hire Belichick.
So technically it was a trade.
Yeah.
But it wasn't.
The Patriots sent a first-rounder to the Jets to say, okay,
it's over.
It's over. Yeah.
But we could theoretically say it was a second-time trade, but that deal got botched. The whole deal. I told you. I remember because I thought that was the weirdest thing. Because here's what you can say. That's the only time that's ever happened.
Where the deal got botched like that?
Yeah. That was weird. I don't ever remember for a coach.
Not in the NFL.
No. Mm-hmm.
Some guy took like the Arkansas basketball job, the Razorbacks, when I was living in Arkansas, and then left the next day. Like he called the Hogs and everything and was like, I'm going back to work. It happened. It's happened more in college because there are just hundreds of openings in college and everything.
I do think I recall.
But the NFL, a guy to go and say yes and then go, I don't think so.
And so to fix everything, they said, we'll give you a first-round pick.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
All right. We have to end this hour of the show. There are people on the line. Steve, Jay, Steve. It's Steve Day on the show. If you stay on, we will take your recommendations. It's 2024. We'll tell you about the status of the Titans QB. I'll tell you what I know about the Jacksonville QB. We'll do that. We'll also take your calls, taking calls on a potential solution for a new intro song for this program. We'll do that when we come back.
John and Connor.
Life is busy. We could all use some extra time in our day, which is exactly why Two Rivers Ford offers mobile service. We'll bring the service to your driveway at no additional charge. Oil changes, brakes, batteries, the certified technicians at Two Rivers will perform basic maintenance on your vehicle wherever you are, so you'll have more time for moments like this. Schedule your mobile service appointment by scanning the QR code or calling Two Rivers Ford today.
Woo! Blaine and Mickey, 1045 The Zone. All right. You're hearing this song right here on Blaine and Mickey. So we start the show today and wanted to let you know a couple things. Will Levis will be the number 3 quarterback for the Titans on Sunday.
Will Levis?
Will Levis.
Oh, okay.
Ryan Tannehill will start.
Where's the intro? One of the testers.
Well, I can't change the
He can't.
main
Yeah, because it's got thinking Blaine and Mickey.
Oh,
he can't. He'd have to rework.
That's why I'm not back there.
He'd have to get in the lab and mix that up.
He was looking at me like, Blaine, what do you want me to do?
So people have been calling in because Blaine said, "What if we just had a new theme music?" Well, of course the lines go bing, 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 ding, 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 all over the place. So we'll take these phone calls, 615-737-1045. If we're getting new theme music, what should it be? I will tell you, just right off the top, we got some amazing ones. So Got to Give It Up by Marvin Gaye. Again, we played that. And if you're young and you don't know it or you're not old school, go throw that on and just see how you feel. That had the whole studio vibing. Even Bananas, the youngster, was like, whoa. Got Crazy Train, funky stuff by Kool and the Gang. We got to work that in. Bam said to give that a try. So we'll take these phone calls. One quick thing on Trevor Lawrence. Doug Peterson essentially said today he and Christian Kirk he called them game time decisions, but Christian Kirk has to be activated tomorrow because he's on injured reserve. He would have to come off tomorrow. So we'll know if we'll see Christian Kirk. With Trevor Lawrence, they don't have to say anything about him until they designate the game day designation.
I don't see a world where the Jags fighting for their division
that he doesn't play.
That he doesn't play.
Yeah. But it's an arm issue though. That's
unless he can physically not do the throwing motion. I just can't see it.
Didn't they show? I thought I saw it on X. Him throwing. I was like, uh-oh. I
Yeah,
don't know if he was going to be playing, man. At least based off that video yesterday.
So Wednesday, he wasn't throwing at all. He was at practice, but he was just running through drills, no throwing. Yesterday, he was throwing a little bit. Not much, but a little bit. Today, I'm assuming he's throwing a little bit as well, a little bit more. So
maybe. What is his actual injury? What you were telling me it was comparable to another quarterback, right?
Carr earlier this year, AC joint.
It was when he was running out of bounds and he dove for the first down. He landed right on his throwing
AC joint
shoulder.
is what I had surgery on rookie year.
He's also dealing with a
the entire
finger
time. I'm not a
injury, I
quarterback.
believe.
It's funny how many. It's not funny because you have to live with it, but it's like, oh, this guy had this total displacement of a finger. You're like, oh, I had that.
Yeah.
The AC joint. Oh, I had that.
Well, how about this? I couldn't play quarterback since I played with the entire season. I had a secondary AC joint displacement and then a shoulder dislocation.
This hurts me.
Did it at practice, by the way.
Oh,
in training camp my second year, going into the second year. It was a mini camp. And like, oh, okay, I think I'll be fine. So you got that 4-week window before you start training camp. And I came back, I was like, oh, I feel great. And then during the season, I was like, uh-oh, it don't feel so good. And they say, oh, you think you can play with it? I was like, yeah, I think I can. But as long as I'm not throwing, played the whole entire season. It was painful. After the season, which now I'm glad I'm not a quarterback because I cannot throw right now.
Right.
And I'm a southpaw. Had my joint shaved down. So it's a gap in between my shoulder. And it sticks up, by the way.
Okay.
Shaved off. And it's not connected to my shoulder. I mean, my arm. So you think about that. Just think about that. My shoulder blade right here that goes across right here.
Yeah.
At the end, it's cut off.
Oh.
And it sticks up. And then my arm is lower than my shoulder.
Do your jackets fit funny now?
No, my neck just hurt.
Can a chiropractor at least push that around some?
Oh, well, yeah. That's why I go twice a week.
Yeah,
You didn't get any of your
I know you go, but
your Aaron Rodgers magic therapy on it.
Well, I do that, but I can't do that all the time.
You need to drink that
because
stuff that
I'll
he
start
drinks.
feeling like I'm floating.
Yeah.
Are you telling Blaine to go sit in a dark cave in the woods?
You need to go sit in a cave in the woods and drink that drink that he drinks.
Oh.
You come on here and just be lit.
I do a lot of different things that I don't tell on there because y'all think I'm psycho or something. But there's a lot of things I did as a player that I would imagine that I would never have done, let alone somebody adjust me that didn't touch me.
Yeah. I know that happened too.
And I still somewhat do that.
Oh, you stuck with it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. That's how I keep everything aligned for my jacked up shoulder and neck.
Just the fact that dude is doing that without touching you, man.
Oh yeah, it's I could go into some details called Bowen and the different things I do.
Speaking of Eddie George, did you guys see Eddie George got double knee replacement surgery?
Oh,
I think I saw that on Twitter today.
Oh, I'm not
Two
shocked.
at once. I know a lot of people who have had them both done, but not at the same time.
He had
Gosh.
double knee replacement?
He did them both at the same time?
I knew one was jacked up for sure. Because me and him talked about it.
Former Titan star Eddie George has double knee replacement surgery after pretty brutal last few years.
Oh, my gosh.
Via the Tennessean.
Wow. Well, there you go. It's in the paper. It's got to be true.
Who did that surgery?
So here we go. He did 2 of them. Boy, can you imagine waking up?
Walking.
I know. You'd be rolling around for a while. Rolling. What? Speaking of songs like rolling. We got to figure out a theme song for the new year. We threw that out there. The response has been overwhelming. Let's go through as many of these as we can, and then we'll talk to our buddy Matt Hayes in Jacksonville coming up. But Steve will be up next. One of 2 Steves to start us off here. 3 Steves. Sorry, there are 3 Steves on. Hey, Steve 1. Steve.
Is that me?
Yes.
Is that me?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. From the borough.
All right, guys. How y'all doing, man?
Good.
Great show.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
I got a song for you, and Mickey, you appreciate this because I'm a singer-songwriter and recording artist.
Oh,
Okay.
are you
And
somebody famous? What's your last name?
Steve Cochran.
Oh, I don't know.
I toured for about 24 years.
Yeah, man.
Oh, okay.
What you got
And,
for us?
But I got a song on my album. It's on Spotify. And y'all said a little while ago you wanted some explosive.
Yeah, man. Just we're trying different things here.
All right, play my song American Thunder and just play the last chorus.
American Thunder. Okay,
And
Steve, number 1.
You'll have your explosions.
Okay. What Steve promising explosions.
Don't.
All right, let's throw a J in between the Steves here. Jay is up next. Jay, help us out for 2024. What are you thinking?
What I'm thinking, it takes me back to when Blaine Bishop was knocking around Heinz Word and Mickey's playing the bass. And I'm thinking about confunction, fun. Because y'all get me laughing all the time and having a great time at work. And I love listening to y'all guys. And every time I hear it, I was thank y'all.
Oh, man, confunction. Fun. I know exactly what you're talking about, man. I used to ride around my mama.
I'm seeing over here like UW, Jump by Van Halen. Or the OGs 2004, Wake Up.
Yeah, the old Wake Up Zone theme, yeah. All right, another Steve is on the line. Steve in Springfield. It's Springfield Steve.
Yeah, guys, how y'all doing?
Good.
Doing awesome this afternoon.
This one may be in Mickey's wheelhouse. John Luke Ponte, New Country. It's a real upbeat song for an upbeat group.
New Country, huh?
Mm-hmm.
All right. I'll write that one down. I remember that name, but I don't remember that song, so I'll have to get a refresher course. All right. Let's see. John in Hendersonville. He's going to throw some football stuff into this as well, I think. Thank you, John. What you got?
Hello?
Hello.
Hey. Sorry, guys. I was just out of the truck for a second. I had 2 things for you, then I want to talk about the MVP candidate.
Yeah, sure.
All right. My 2 theme songs for you guys are You Dropped the Bomb on Me, so Explosion for that one.
Okay.
By War or Funky Town.
Okay.
And then my MVP thing I want to talk about is everybody's like, oh, Lamar Jackson was MVP. No, he's more of the MFP, more like selfish player. Brock Purdy should be the MVP. He's got 3 receivers at 1,000 yards. Lamar Jackson has no receivers at 1,000 yards. He has almost more rushing yards than all of his receivers does. You value a player, you got to be all around. So I feel like just because they beat him doesn't mean that he's a better player than Brock Purdy. That's all I got to say.
All right. I don't know, man. I think Lamar's. I think Lamar's pretty good.
I will say this: like, if you look at purely stats, Brock Purdy, I think, is above Lamar in most categories. But if you look at, you got to take into account to everything. If you look at the flow of the games and how the games are being played and who impacts those games, Lamar Jackson has taken over those Ravens games in the last. And I know he's got that great defense. I mean, the 49ers have a good defense too. But Lamar Jackson the last couple of weeks has just put himself on the map. It'll be an interesting conversation when it comes down to it.
I think it's hard to beat. Well, I don't know. They're both the quarterback of the best team in their division or their conference, rather. So, yeah.
Oh, that would be a tough one there, man. But I would say this, as a safety, Purdy probably is a better pure passer. But Lamar Jackson, I think, could almost get to there as a pure passer, but his running ability causing headaches for secondary guys would just drive me nuts. I'm serious, man. I'd be like, I got to cover guys, and then now I got to go and run and tackle you too?
I can't turn my back on that guy.
Yeah, I'm pissed, man. I'm like, I'll feel like I'm helpless. And I think that's the difference. And I think Purdy has better weapons, so it makes his job a little bit easier, as the caller just mentioned, with the surrounding pieces.
McCaffrey, Brandon Ayuk, Kittle has been fantastic this year. Every time you watch
the main guy,
Deebo Samuel,
and just that name alone, he be Deeboing people out there.
Former Vol Juwan Jennings, 33 catches, 265 yards.
Boy, he be blocking. But you know what? You know who he fit with the Titans?
Oh, 100%.
Oh, Vrabel would love him.
Yeah.
Oh, he's a great blocker. I want that second on the list. Great catcher, playmaker first.
Getter, opener, and catcher of the baller. Adam in Lebanon are calling. What's up, Adam? What do you think about all this stuff?
What's up, fellas? Enjoying listening to y'all. Sitting here waiting to pick up the kiddos from school.
Yeah, man.
Okay.
Getting their learn on.
All right, so here's what I got for the intro song.
Okay.
Yeah, Dr. Dre, Keep the Heads Ringing.
Ooh. Well, now that's our ding dong of the week song.
We do play that every week.
Ring a ding ding dong. Keep the heads ringing.
Yeah, you went deep on that.
Yes. Not too deep. Bananas ready with that one all the time.
Oh, but first of all, how's that set up on it? Did you know that's that? What does it say on there?
Ring a ding ding dummy.
Ding dong.
Oh, see, so you just pushed it. You don't even know what was on it.
I knew what it was.
He knew where the ding dong
That
was.
was awesome, man.
Perfect. How short is the next break? How many more of these can we go through? Because literally the lines are full.
Let's go like 2 minutes.
2 minutes.
Okay.
All right. Rapid fire. Connor in Spring Hill up next.
Hey, how we doing?
Hey, good.
Awesome, man.
Good. I'm going to throw it back to the 70s.
Okay.
Do we know anything about the heat wave?
Heat wave, sure.
Oh, Mickey May.
All right. What about the groove line, heat wave?
Oh, the groove.
Hey, man, do you know who Rod Temperton is?
No, sir, I don't.
He was in Heat Wave. Do you know what he wrote? That's a great suggestion, by the way. It is a fantastic suggestion.
I thought it was perfect.
He wrote Thriller for Michael Jackson. Yeah. Look it up, kids. Rod Temperton.
Oh, I feel like I'm bananas right now.
Look at Rod Temperton. He wrote more than one hit for Michael Jackson, and he was in Heat Wave. Groove Line, you know that one.
Oh, yeah.
Dude, Groove Line, get this place lit.
Uh-oh. We're going to play that on the way back.
The hair's standing up on my arms right now.
Top of the list there, Bananas.
All right, we promised you all the Steves we could squeeze in. Here's Steve number 3.
Is Steve in the Borough?
Yes, sir.
Steve in the Borough.
Yeah, I got one from the 70s also.
Okay.
And this could be somebody else's song to lead into their show, but how about Casey and the Sunshine Band, Boogie Shoes?
Boogie Shoes. Boy, that's got a nice little jump to it, too.
I do know Buck does use Boogie Shoes at the end of one of his shows every week.
Oh, okay.
But I'm not sure which one.
We're doing nothing Buck does.
Yeah, we can't encroach in Buck territory.
Oh, Buckaroo.
We'll pass the Buck. Lisa
That's a good one,
in Nashville up next.
Hi, it's actually Larissa.
Larissa.
And,
Oh, sorry. Joseph wrote that correctly. That's on me.
Yeah,
He wrote it.
we
Larissa.
mispronounced that. Sorry about that, man.
Yes.
That's so
Typical
okay.
us,
And just real quickly, Mickey, well, you're a musician. So what about? Have you ever thought about possibly doing a little something?
A little something what?
And to possibly do an intro.
Oh, like me write an intro. Oh, I don't know.
Yeah,
Not until now, Lisa.
I think we're going downstairs after this. We're going to an intro with
Not
Mickey.
until now.
You know, you've got Outstanding by the Gap Band. That's a little old school.
Okay.
You know, just the intro of it. Eminem, Lose Yourself is always going to make you bob your head.
Yeah, that one's undefeated.
All the way up with Remy Ma and Fat Joe. You also have New York Josie. I could go on.
I know.
Just Mickey, consider.
I think so.
Lisa,
All right, guys.
you
Have a
flatter
great
me.
weekend.
You too.
Oh, yeah.
We can make it a family. You could get your daughter to help out.
Oh, she's the talent in the family.
Didn't she get a new guitar for Christmas?
She did. Got a new guitar for Christmas.
Ooh, no.
New
no,
guitar,
how about
new gear?
a duo, Mickey and daughter, with our intro music?
Boy, I'd have to enlist one of my drummer friends.
Okay, that's
know a
fine.
couple
To
drummers.
enlist my
Just
guitar
create-
friends.
This weekend, get creative this weekend or whenever you get free
Ooh,
and make this
boy.
thing happen.
Isn't Bam a drummer?
Bam is a drummer.
Get a little listener flair in there.
My friend Matt Krause or Jeff Brown. Those
Or
are
I
my
could
drummer
go
friends. John
somewhere-
Conley, who plays for Kenny Chesney. I got
Well,
Gary
you go
Murray.
perform with Bam and them
Darius.
again, and I'll go, and then we'll use
And
one
then
of those.
we got to have like Blaine jump in and like
100%.
say
Blaine's
one
got
of
to
his
be
little
involved.
mannerisms,
Yes.
and then we'll
I
use
may
that as the
attempt
beat
to
drop.
sing.
Yeah.
We
That's
got
about it.
Blaine's got to be in this.
I'll
Okay.
just hold a guitar and just jump up and down.
All right, we have to take one more because Richard in Gallatin says he knows famous Steve who called in earlier. Richard, help us out here.
Yeah,
Hey,
recording
great
artist.
show, guys. First of all, this is about the caller. Don't slide to the other Steves, but when I heard Steve Cropper call it in, I go, man, I bet they don't even know who that guy is.
No, I know Steve
I didn't know
Cropper.
who he
It was Steve.
Mickey knows.
It was Steve Cochran, not Steve Cropper.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Cochran.
But I didn't know I went to a charity benefit, and he's an older guy, 70, 80 years old, a big man, hair pulled back in a ponytail. He goes, let me play a couple of songs I wrote. He's breaking out Wait Till the Midnight Hour, sitting on the dock of the knock, knock, knock on wood, Green Onions. The guy's in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. He's a legend.
Yeah, again, you're talking about a different person. Appreciate the phone call. The guy who called said his name was Steve Cochran. I know Steve Cropper. My wife used to babysit his kids. Because she called me one summer and she's like, this is like before we were married. And she goes, remember I told you I'm babysitting some kids? And I said, yeah. She goes, I think this guy's famous. I said, tell me what you see. And she said, I see a Grammy Award. It says Green Onions on it. I said, what else do you see? And she started naming, I see a gold record. It says In the Midnight Hour. I see a gold record. It says Sitting on the Dock of the Bay. I'm like, sweet mother of pearl, you're in Steve Cropper's house.
Okay.
He's the best dude ever,
It's official. Mickey's got to get a bunch of people together and write the intro song. It's official. Sorry, I don't make the rules.
No pressure here.
Lisa.
I do make the rules, but I don't make the rules.
Okay.
Yeah, you do. You're a part of the. We collab. See how
Blaine on cowbell says John Sloan in the chat.
Oh man, I grew up around the cowbells. That's why I love when I went to that Mississippi State game. Yeah, but we collaborate here.
All right,
you listening, Vrabel?
Let's collaborate with Matt Hayes next of 1010 XL in Jacksonville. We can talk Jags. We can talk college football. He covers it all, and we will next.
While you've been patiently preparing for the cooler overnight temps, your home's heating system may need some prep of its own. That's where my friends at Cool Ray can come in. They're hard at work preparing thousands of Tennessee residents for the cool down with a $49 furnace tune-up. So think of your furnace tune-up like maintenance on your car. We all know what can go wrong if you neglect that, right? And if this is the year you finally need to fully replace your home's heating and cooling system, Cool Ray is armed and ready with same-day or next-day installation available on brand-new Tempstar home comfort systems. Plus, they boost the 10-year parts and labor warranty on the new unit. So schedule your $49 tune-up or any heating, cooling, plumbing, or electrical related by visiting Cool Ray online at coolray.com. No phone call, no wait, no worries. You pick the date and time that works for you. That's coolray.com.
Funky stuff. Cool in the Gang. Considering we're kicking around new possible theme songs for 2024, this is what our man Bam suggested. I knew he would come with something like this.
I like this.
I grew up on Cool in the Gang, man. I mean, you can't go wrong with that. Ooh. I don't know if Matt Hayes grew up on Cool in the Gang, but he grew up knowing about NFL and college football and everything else. Works at 1010XL and writes for Saturday Down South. Been doing great work for years. Matt, are you into Cool in the Gang? Are you a Cool in the Gang guy?
Hell yeah, Cool in the Gang, Earth, Wind, and Fire, yes, of course.
Boy, that is the good stuff.
I don't care if it dates me either. Who cares?
I gave up on that a long time ago, dating myself with my musical preferences. Let's date ourselves with the last report on Trevor Lawrence. How are things looking for him? I thought I heard Peterson say today, day to day.
He's questionable, and basically what it's going to be is when you get to the stadium, he starts throwing it around. It's going to depend on how he feels and if they think he can go. Simple as that. I mean, I would expect if he feels like he can go and not hurt himself, and more importantly, protect himself, then I think he'll play. But if he can't, it's like every NFL player. If you can't protect yourself, there's no reason to be out there.
What has been your assessment of Lawrence up to this point in his career? Because I'll tell you, just as an outside observer, I think a lot of us, who see him play for the Jags and have seen him have some big moments, maybe we thought, gosh, this guy's going to be top 5 in the NFL by now. I don't know if he's gotten there, but you cover him every day. What do you think about him?
I think he has flashes of where you're like, whoa, this dude's got it. And then I also think he tries way too hard to carry a team. And I don't think you can do that in the NFL, especially that position. You just got to let the game come to you, and I'm not sure that he's done that yet. I think he's still focused more on I've got to do X, Y, and Z because X, Y, and Z isn't happening. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I think that's hurt him a little bit. I think he tries to make too big of a play because of that sometimes, and he doesn't take the profit, which is a big thing. In the NFL, if they're going to give you 3-4 yards on a quick little flare, take it and get the 2nd and 6 instead of staying at 2nd and 10, or taking the sacks and making it 2nd and 13 or 14. And I think he's got to learn that as well. So it's a growth process. We know the first year was a mulligan because anybody that has to play under Urban Meyer for a year, my God, especially in that situation, it's pretty brutal. So he's learning. I expect him to get better with each season. He's got a lot of talent, man, a lot of talent. As long as they continue to put pieces around him, Mickey, to help him get better, I think he'll be fine.
Yeah, Urban was a trainload of dumpsters wrecking on fire. Matt Hayes is not that at all. He's at Matt Hayes CFB on Twitter. You should follow him immediately there.
Well, Matt, since we're talking about injuries and you said Lawrence's kind of game day decision, what about Christian Kirk?
I don't think he's gonna play, Blaine. I mean, I think they'd like to get him out there. Honestly, they'd like to have him, but he and Zay Jones out there. Zay Jones is going to play. I don't know if he's going to have that big brace on because he's just not the same player when he's got that big brace on his knee. He's not the fast guy. He's not a guy that can change direction like he does typically without the knee brace on. He's going to play. Kirk, I don't know. I mean, you're talking about less than a month returning from a core injury. That's a difficult injury to return from. My guess is they'd like to get by this week without him, and then if they get to the playoffs, have him for the playoffs. That's probably the best case scenario for them.
Any other injuries, updates on any other players that are starters that can really impact the game? Or are there other
really. A lot of guys that are dinged up, Wayne, to be honest with you, and it's that time of year in the NFL. I think the fact that they got Cam Robinson back last week was big because he just gives them a little bit of an attitude on the offensive line. Got kicked out of the game near the end of in the fourth quarter in that game as well, which kind of maybe hopefully for them rattled some cages for them to start playing with a little more attitude because for that month of a season they were just, I mean, honestly, guys, they were lost. They weren't a physical team. They were getting pushed around. They were losing games by every way imaginable, and it just didn't look good. And again, granted, that's the worst team in the NFL they beat last week, and that's the kind of what I've been trying to say all week in preparation for this game is they literally played the worst team in the NFL and won 26-0. Now, the Titans aren't the NFL elite, but it's a rivalry game. It's on the road, and you're going to get your best shot from a team that's probably not going to look like it does now next year. So these guys all know that this is it. It's the last shot for this team, probably the last shot. You guys will know more than I will. And with Derrick Henry there, so yeah, they're going to get the Titans' best shot, no doubt about it.
Yeah, definitely go get the Titans' best shot. And from the defensive perspective for the Jags, they got to bring their hard hats because whenever you're playing Derrick Henry. But do you think they're going into this game as this is a must-win to make sure we solidify ourselves for the playoffs?
Oh, yeah. I mean, who knows what happens in the NFL? They have no idea if the Steelers and the Broncos both lose. They're still in. They know all that. But I think you've got to go into this game thinking, all right, you got to win. You got to win to get to the playoffs. And honestly, think about this, fellas. This team was 8-3 after 11 games. 6 games to go. They had all but locked it up. It's a lot like last year with the Titans.
Yeah.
And they just frittered it all away. And now they're at a point where they've got to win a game that, frankly, they should win. But who knows? You're on the road, the NFL. You've got a team that has really played poorly in 5 of the last 6 games. It's difficult to say, hey, or 4 of the last 5 games, it's difficult to say, hey, yeah, they'll just go in there and they've got the better team and they're better on the lines of scrimmage and Jeffrey Simmons isn't there and that's going to help. And it's difficult to say they're going to go in there and win that thing until you actually see it happen.
Did they live up, the Jaguars, that is, live up to expectations coming into the seasons where they are now?
You know, it's funny. That's kind of been the talk all week here is, you know, if they win the division, if they win the game and then win the division, you know, do you feel like it's a successful season and have they lived up to the hype of the preseason? And honestly, I would say no. Because and a lot of it has to do with some injuries because they've had some untimely injuries like everyone else in the league, all right? But I don't think they have lived up to what could have been. Part of it is injuries. Part of it, they just haven't played well. You know, the Bengals game is a prime example. You got them at home on Monday night against a backup quarterback, and you give up, you know, in the 30s. And you're out of the game with a deep ball from a backup quarterback. You're there, and you get a holding call on a rookie right tackle that takes the throw away, eliminates the win. A lot of things like that. You played poorly on the road against the Browns and a 40-year-old quarterback who I have no idea how he's playing, but Joe Flacco's playing well right now.
Yeah.
But you lose a game like that, and those are two wins right there. You stick those 2 wins in the win column for them, you know, then they're at 11-5. Then they're playing for 12 wins, and then you're saying, all right, well now it's kind of what was expected from them.
No doubt about it. We're with Matt Hayes, National College football writer, as well as for 1010XL in Jacksonville, covering the Jags.
Certainly the biggest offseason question for this team is, can it finally fix the offensive line for the Titans? What is the biggest offseason question, in your opinion, for the Jags as we get closer and closer to the offseason?
Same, Mickey. Honestly, same. Offensive line, it's been a mess all year. It's been an absolute mess all year. I mean, it's crazy how, you know, their whole idea was, okay, we're going to play Walker Little at left tackle because he's our future at left tackle, and then let Cam Robinson go at the end of the year, and then hopefully Anton Harrison becomes a steady force at right tackle, and you get growth from the center, you get growth at the left guard spot, and it's just been a nightmare. It's been an absolute nightmare. A guy that played games earlier in the year, Ben Barch, was cut. Niners picked him up. You know, they've got Tyler Shatley, a career backup at left guard. He played well and then didn't play well. Then they pick up they trade a 6th rounder for another guard. Then you got Walker Little, who's in and out injury-wise. Anton Harrison is kind of hit and miss. He's more hit than miss. Cam gets hurt. Cam Robinson gets hurt. He misses 4 games. You know, at one point they were playing with a 3rd-string left tackle. The center, Luke Fortner, who, you know, played well as a rookie, has regressed. He's not that good of a player right now, really struggling. It's a lot like the Titans. And as you guys know, it's a line of scrimmage league, man. And if you can't be successful and consistent on the offensive line, you're going to struggle. And that's part of the problems in the month of December for them.
What do you think should happen to Derrick Henry next? I think we're all sort of resigned that this will be the last time we see him play in a Titans uniform. He'll be playing against essentially his hometown team. What's the next chapter for him? What should it be?
Take less money and come play for this team, man.
Come home, huh?
I'm sure they wish that.
That they would love that. I think he's got a lot left in him, man. I mean, that is one bad man. I'll tell you that. I think he's got a lot left in him. The fact that he got 1,000 yards with that offensive line is amazing. And hopefully he will get on a team where he can chase a ring. I'd love to see it. I don't think he's going to take less money to come here. I can guarantee you that. He's still got a chance to get a decent contract. I love him. I love watching him play. I've loved watching him play since he was in college. You know, when Alabama refused to give him the ball when he was young, and then finally agreed to it later. Just a great, great player.
Matt Hayes covering college football on the Jags 1010 XL radio on Saturday down south. Read him there.
Yeah, Matt, let's get into a little bit of college football. Let's start off first with, do you think there should be any rule changes in the timeline of the TP, the National Signing Day, all of that? Because I think it kind of took away from the National Signing Day with the transfer portal stuff, too. So, you're in the mix at all of this. Give us your thoughts.
So, Blaine, here's my thoughts, and I'm sorry to say this, but I am not an echo chamber, and I am not the guy who's going to echo what coaches say or what you typically hear from me say. But every time the players get an advantage, every single time, all of a sudden it becomes, it's not sustainable. That's the buzzword from coaches. It's not sustainable. And then it just gets echoed throughout the media and everybody. This is not unsustainable. You can't do this. Well, it is sustainable because guess what? It's going on right now. It's happening, and they're signing NIL deals, and there's free player movement. And guess what? The world goes on. And guess what? We've got 2 new teams in the national championship game, which is what NIL was all about anyway. It's about lifting others to be among the elite instead of having Alabama and Georgia and Oklahoma and Clemson every single year at Ohio State. So now we've got 2 new teams, and all of a sudden now it's not sustainable because players have the upper hand a little bit. This is my whole point in the entire thing. You get paid $8 million, $9 million, $10, $12 million a year. Figure it out. If you can't handle the fact that they can leave in the transfer portal, after the end of the regular season, or if you can't handle the fact that there are players opting out in the bowl game, then that's on you. You're the one that puts together the roster. You're the one that recruits the transfer portal. You've got to see things like this happen. Is it unfortunate that Florida State lost a majority of its elite skill players and elite players for the bowl game to play against Georgia? Sure it is. It was also unfortunate that they lost Jordan Travis to an injury, because if they didn't lose Jordan Travis to an injury, then they're in the playoffs. And frankly, I think Florida State could beat any of those 4 teams. So, yeah, it's all part of the process. I am not a guy who's going to say, oh, it's not sustainable.
I love it, Matt. Yeah.
Of course it is. Figure it out, man. You guys get paid $10 million a year. Figure it out.
Well, something that we can't figure out and wrap our heads around here is that this is the 3rd straight season Nick Saban hasn't won a national championship, man. What the heck is going on? Is he going to retire, man? What's going on, man? I'm going crazy around here, man. How did that happen?
That's, what's funny? If you think about this, their offensive, we were talking about offensive lines, okay? Their offensive line in the last 3 years has given up almost, it's close, like 140 sacks. It's ridiculous, the number they've given up. And they've given up that number of sacks despite having a literal magician with Bryce Young. He's literally a magician back there, okay, in college. He can find his way out of any jam. And a guy like Jalen Milroe who can run and break, contain, and do things with his legs. And they still gave up 140 sacks. Think about that. So that's been their problem. They haven't been able to protect. You can say it. You can talk about, receivers. They don't have Devonta Smith. They don't have Waddle. They don't have Mechie. They don't have those guys. They don't have an offensive line. If they could protect, you'd be shocked at all of a sudden how people would say, wow, Isaiah Bond's a great receiver. He's got 65 catches and 1,200 yards and 10 touchdowns. He's the next great Alabama receiver. Unfortunately, they can't protect, so they can't get the ball off. And that's been that way for 3 years now. And Bryce Young was so good for 2 of those years. He was so remarkable in how accurate he was and how he could do things that you rarely saw, it covered up all those problems. And then it finally came to a head this year when you had a guy that wasn't as experienced as Bryce Young, wasn't as talented a thrower as Bryce Young, and now all of a sudden you're starting to see the flaws, and that's the big flaw right now in Alabama, the offensive line.
Matt, fantastic stuff as always. 1010XL Radio, again, at Matt Hayes, CFB, Saturday down south.
Mickey, let me ask you
latest.
something real quick.
Ask away,
So
yeah.
If Mike Vrabel decides to leave, do the Titans go after Josh Heupel? Is that possible?
I do not think that would be possible.
No.
Really?
I think that'll probably sit where it sits. Now, who would they go after? I would imagine
the offensive coordinator at the Texans.
Rand's connection there, a young man named Bobby Slowick. Yeah, who Blaine just said.
I love Bobby Slowick.
And now,
2 years ago, by the way, worked for PFF, if you can believe that.
Wow.
What?
Yeah, he was working for Pro Football Focus. Yes. 2 years ago, actually. I believe it was 2 years ago he's working for PFF.
Well, and maybe not him, but, a young offensive type. But Blaine was right on the head because he and Rand have a pre-existing relationship. So, boy, what happens in New England will be a very interesting thing as far as how people are feeling around here early next week.
Good. Yeah, I agree.
Thank you, Matt. Great stuff as always.
All right, boys.
Yes, sir.
Appreciate it, Matt.
Yes, sir. You too. At Matt Hayes College Football, CFB, that is 1010XL Radio, Saturday Down South. All right, when we come back, it's time to call our shot. You got a shot, 615-737-1045 will get you in. You can do it in the F&M Bank chat if you're watching on Zone TV. Also, remember this, no matter where you go, you can take the Zone app with you. Just listen to us all the time. And if you ever miss anything, you just subscribe to the Blaine and Mickey Show on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and all podcasting platforms. Time to call our shot next.
For many of you who have lived here a long time, you already know Eurofix has been in Middle Tennessee area for your European car repair needs now for 24 years. And we've all gotten to watch them grow. And I don't know about you, but I love watching a hometown business take off. Well, we're now proud to announce the 5th location in Mount Juliet for Eurofix on Mount Juliet Road, right across the street from Dairy Queen. And Eurofix can serve you in Franklin, Hundred Oaks, Murfreesboro, Belmead, and now Mount Juliet. Pretty cool to get to watch a small-town mechanic starting in the barn in his backyard of a single-wide trailer and now grow to 5 locations repairing thousands of cars each month. And at Eurofix, you get a 3-year nationwide warranty and a free loaner car with every repair appointment. And all you have to do is just give them a call at 844-EUROFIX. That's right. Or you can just visit them online at myEurofix.com. That's myEurofix.com. But always tell them Blaine said you.
Blaine and Mickey. Keep the suggestions coming, by the way, at Blaine and Mickey on Twitter. Just having some fun, thinking about maybe a different theme song for 2024. We got some great ones. A bunch of y'all called your shot on that. I mean, we got 20-something calls that we were able to take and a whole bunch more in the F&M Bank chat. Let's do this, though. The 2023 football season may be wrapping up quickly, but it is brought to you by the good folks at Chattanooga Whiskey, named the 2023 Craft Producer of the Year by Whiskey Magazine. The perfect weekend deserves the perfect pour. Chattanooga Whiskey, available at your local retail store. You got a shot to call 615-737-1045 or drop it in the F&M Bank chat. Bananas, we will defer to you as we often do.
National championship, Monday night. Washington, Michigan. Michigan, the big, bad school, beat the cheating allegations. Harbaugh's back on the sideline, took down Alabama. I don't care. Okay. Give me Washington. Michael Penix going to win the MVP of the title game. Washington's going to win the national championship. And we don't have to worry about what's going to happen when Michigan gets their wins vacated because of all this cheating.
Oh, my.
Michigan, 4.5-point favorites.
All right. Did you tweet out, call your shot?
Oh, I got to do that.
Yeah. All right, Mickey, I'll let you go next.
Every step of the way, I wouldn't say that I've doubted Washington. Not doubted, but against Alabama, I just thought it feels like Alabama. They played Texas. Against Texas, I wondered, okay, can Penix and his receivers, can they continue to move the ball like they have and run the ball? Can this offense be as explosive against this really good Texas team? And they were. They just went out and did what they did. And Michael Penix continues to be one of the best stories in college football. I think you asked earlier, maybe the biggest question that we're all going to have to live with for the rest of our lives is, should he have just won the Heisman Trophy this year? Because that may turn out to be the biggest storyline. But I'll say this. The last time you had it, one of the last times we all remember a big controversy about who won the Heisman. Think about that Vince Young Rose Bowl year. He didn't win the Heisman. But what did Vince Young do? Ran all the way to the national championship. And I bet he just fine, sleeps just fine. The Heisman Trophy can go right down the road, but I'll be an immortal in Austin, Texas for the rest of my life, me and my teammates. I think Penix has the Vince Young style, okay, y'all can keep the stiff arm. I'll take the national championship. I would love that ending for him.
Except he's going to do it with his arm.
He is going to do it with his arm. By the way, somebody tweeted us this. His whole family are like Tennessee Tech people, grads. Dad went to Tennessee Tech. Brother, I think, is there now.
I told you
Mom?
he had an offer to the University of Tennessee.
Yeah,
and he wanted to come here.
He committed.
And Jeremy Pruitt, when they took over, pulled the offer and said that they didn't want him anymore. And so he went off to Indiana. And now he's about to play for the biggest game in his career.
Greatest example of sometimes the best laid plans don't. What does Garth Brooks say? Thank God for unanswered prayers.
This is year 6 for him, too, right? Because he got.
It's year 6. By the way, people get upset. Oh, this guy's 23. I don't care. Really? Why should that bother anybody?
Yeah, really? No.
I'd rather have a mature 24-year-old than maybe somebody who's 20. Got a lot of things to figure out. I'm fine with it. Stop that. Stop that.
Well, you guys are against me. That's why I had you go first. I knew you guys both go for Washington. And just to be a curmudgeon, I'll go for Michigan.
Oh.
And here's why I'm going for it. First of all, I love Jim Harbaugh's goofiness and answers to questions, not answering any questions. And then he makes the players believe us versus the world and all the narratives about, 80% of the, J.J. McCarthy said, 80% of the college football cheat. Did you hear him say that? Yes, he did. Yes, he did in an interview, as Bananas is saying yes. And he was really talking about, sign stealing and everything else, but not directed towards Harbaugh in the Michigan doing any of that, right? So I just think their physicality, the way they play, they're going to slow this game down. It's kind of going to be Vrabel-esque in this game. If they get behind by a lot, though, it's going to be trouble for them.
Yeah.
So they're going to run the football, slow the game down. J.J. McCarthy is 26-1 as a starter. Doesn't make really major issues as far as turn the ball over. Makes great decisions. Probably going to be a solid, NFL quarterback. You should see where he'll go. Probably late first round, and probably decide to come out. So I see Michigan and Taylor Lewan on the sidelines with the Bussin' with the Boys crew, jumping up and down for the national title with all the graffiti. And Wolverine, and guess what? Jim Harbaugh walks off to the Chargers.
Ooh, that would be
bang,
a mic drop.
Bang, boom, take that, Michigan. Or he comes back for $100 million.
So I think this is going to be a really good matchup.
Different philosophies, too.
Yeah.
And for Washington, they already went up against Texas, who everyone going to that game is Texas is going to slow them down. Yeah. That defensive line is going to slow them down. And it really didn't. It turned into a shootout.
But the difference is Texas secondary is not as good as Michigan secondary. Oh, by the way, Michigan defensively has Junior Colson from Ravenwood as the middle linebacker starter, too, by the way.
Rome Odunze is going to have a big game here.
He always balls out.
Yeah.
Yeah. Rome Odunze. I just want to see him play again.
Yeah. But my heart and soul, I like offense. So I kind of be a defense guy. I like Washington, but I'm going for Michigan just to go against you guys, too. But I believe they're going to win.
I'm just happy Alabama's not in it.
All right, Will in Nashville.
There he goes.
Tennessee fan, can't hide that orange. Will in Nashville, one final phone call, one final submission for the intro song. You can call your shot on that. What you got, Will?
I got it for you.
Okay.
You guys cover the Titans, the Vols, Little Vanderbilt. Hurts so good because we're all hurting around here on Saturday, Sunday, or Monday. And you guys make it feel so good.
Oh, man, you are too kind. Thank you for that.
That was awesome to end on that note, for sure.
3HL won't hurt you. They hanging out. Where are they today, Bananas? Have you got that in front of you?
They are at Scoreboard Bar and Grill.
Do we know which location?
No.
Okay.
Ooh.
Cedar Creek Marina.
Cedar Creek. There you go.
Thanks,
Cedar Creek.
Thanks, Kirby, from down the line.
Kirby. Just blasting you with that. So there you go. Your Friday plans are done. 3HL at Cedar Creek Marina. Where else would you rather be? But we got to get out of here right now.
So in the meantime.
In between time.
Peace.